Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is VIN 1055, and before I proceed any further, this is a salvage title car, or it looks like it's going to be a salvage title. This is a 2016 8X1 ultrasonic blue mica with LA30 red interior, so the Superman spec is what people call it, and it is at Copart in Houston, Texas. And this is a sad one because this car was definitely a victim of circumstance, not once but twice. And so it was a total loss previously because it had some damage at the front where they caught the grille, the headlight, the front bumper, and then it got hail damage very recently, and that's what again totaled it. And it's unfortunate because it is a very clean car. It's very well maintained. It's a low mileage example. It has 39,500 miles on it. Production statistics: 269 out of the 2,348 cars were ultrasonic blue mica. Of those, only 62 had LA30. And so the red interior, that's 2.64%. That is an 8 out of 10 for rarity. It is a very rare spec. And for 2016, we own one too. We have a 2016 in this spec. 177 out of the 1,418 cars were ultrasonic blue mica, and there were only 36. And last I checked, there's like 28 of these left. So this car at its rarest is one of 36. You're not gonna see very many of these, and it is an exceptionally clean example prior to the damage happening. Carfax, Epic VIN, and Auto Check. So 2026 Carfax shows this as a 2-owner, 3 accident or damage incident reported, and it is declared as a total loss vehicle, salvage title. It's a New York and Texas car. In 2025, because I know this owner, I've talked to him. I haven't met him in person, but I've talked to him via chat and email and everything. 2025, it did show as a total loss, but he was able to clear that up because what had happened was the front end of the car got damaged it was either sitting on the street or his driveway, I forget which it was, but the insurance company declared it as a total loss before he was even paid out on it. And so he was able to clear that up and got the total loss removed from the Carfax. So if you ran a Carfax prior to 2026, but after this incident in 2025, it would show as a clean title, no damage car. And I think it had an early accident, but that's basically it. It has an interesting story regarding that, but that's also why I like to show my previous Carfaxes as well. And it was because here's the total for the damage. The total was originally $23,000, and there was an additional supplement for $3,000 or $4,000. So you're talking about $27,000 worth of damage on this car, all for a little bump on the corner. And I've talked about this in other videos. The front ends of these cars are so expensive, and it can total these cars. And this is an example right here. It was fixed, but then he drove it, and it was damaged by the recent hailstorm we had here in April or May of 2026, and he even showed me photos. What's interesting to me is that Copart does not show this car as a hail damaged car, and that's the whole reason it's there. And so go look at the photos a little bit closer, but the owner sent me some better photos too, and it got the roof and the pillars and everything pretty good. The very, very expensive parts to repair for hail damage got the roof pretty good. And so this car has hail damage, and so that's another thing that you have to factor into your purchase price here. Epic VIN shows this as a 3-owner, no accident car, which is not correct. Auto Check shows this as a 2-owner, 2-accident, total loss vehicle twice, so it still has the original total loss that Carfax was corrected. It didn't get corrected on Auto Check, so it's total loss twice. 2-owner, 3-accident with prior damage, total loss. Previous sales: this car first went on sale in February of 2016, $88,000 in New York State. It was still for sale in September of 2016, and it finally sold in December of 2016, so like 10 months for sale. And so these cars, dealers didn't want to discount them when they were new, so they just sat around, and that's what happened with this one. And then it looks like it was a private sale from the owner in New York to the current owner in Texas in around 2021, 2022. But it was for sale on Club Lexus for $72,500 with 15,000 miles with some pretty tasteful mods. Had an intake elbow, some other things, but it was also noted that the car was entirely wrapped in paint protection film. So every single panel was covered with paint protection film, and then it was ceramic coated on top of that. So it was somebody's baby for a long time, very well taken care of car. And then now Copart, end of May 2026 with 39,500 miles. So as far as the price goes, this is going to be an easy car to rebuild and put back on the road, but it's going to be an expensive one because of what's damaged. Anything on that front end, that is expensive to repair, and the hail damage. But I'm not sure why the front and rear bumpers are removed. unless they were inspecting for further damage at a body shop or something like that, and they just left them off. And so you kind of see that with body shops because they're not going to get paid to put them back together. But I would say this car is probably going to bring all the money at Copart. And I mean, I'm talking $25,000+ because it is a low mile example. It's a very clean example, and it's a low mile drivetrain. The airbags are not blown. It's just got damage from hail and on the ends, and that's it. As I said, the Copart auction does not currently, here at the end of May, this is May 23rd, 2026, does not report it as hail damage. You can see it in the photos if you look really close, but if you're just buying this sight unseen or through the internet, bidding on this car, you're going to get hosed because you pick it up. And that may be one of the circumstances where you can still get your money back from Copart because of misrepresentation. So that would be something to look at. But as I said, this was a fantastic example prior to this. And I mean, it still is. It's worthy of getting put back on the road, despite it's going to have a checkered past now as well. It does have a little bit of carbon fiber delamination on the interior trim, as to be expected. You know, no big deal, you can get it refinished. I see some damage to the steering wheel as well on the leather, and it looks like a pretty straightforward fix though otherwise, and so I don't see anything out of line. You're gonna be on the hook for a bumper cover, a grille, and maybe headlights. Not sure what's going on with the rear bumper, but all of the hail damage as well. So there is a significant expense, but so that brings me to when this car is rebuilt. This car with 40,000 miles as a rebuilt title car, it's gonna sell in like the low 30s, and maybe at the most like $34,000, $35,000 in this market. But if you got this car at 25 plus auction fees and everything and shipping, you're closer to 30 with tax and everything. Then you have to fix it. Then if you were going to do that to flip it or sell it, you're gonna be underwater. You're going to be in this car like well over $40,000. At that point, you can probably find a clean title example with 100,000 miles or something for that amount of money. So if the mileage is worth that to you, worth the effort, plus having a rebuilt title car, then it may be worth it. But for me, it would be, I would buy it, fix it, and just keep it to drive it. I wouldn't try to flip this one because I think you're going to be in it. You're going to have to spend all the money at Copart to get this car because there's going to be a lot of people interested in it. So now into the service history. It's definitely well serviced by the original owner, and the current owner, it's well serviced, but just not at the dealer. And so he did give me some information on that as well. So the first entry of note is February of 2017. The driver's side door was squeaking, very common. It's just right there. It's the seal that when you open it, you just put some lubrication on it and it goes away. If it doesn't squeak, it pops. If it pops, it's the door check. But in this instance, it is the seal. The low pressure fuel pump is reprogrammed there as well, so that's the humming or buzzing in the back seat. And both outer taillights were replaced due to moisture in them. So some of the earlier cars, this is not exactly an early car, some of the earlier cars I saw that they had lots of issues with like the paint on the insides flaking due to moisture getting in them somehow. And so I don't know if it was just a defective run of parts or something like that, but the issue definitely didn't seem to affect any of the later cars. November of 2017, a transmission complaint, and they said when you're first shifting, like 10 to 15 miles an hour, it was kind of rough shifting, and that's common on these cars. These cars had 3 gallons of fluid to heat up before the transmission would shift properly. And so the transmission control computer will purposely sort of protect the transmission, so it will let it slip more, and just to protect parts and clutches and things like that inside the transmission. You'll see that on a lot of service histories. People complain about the transmission, like a shift flare, it jumps around, things like that. It's always when the transmission is cold. I don't think there's any cause for concern there. April of 2018, the JLB recall was done. High pressure fuel pumps are done. October of 2019, the KLG was done. So that is the GPS location reporting incorrectly. And the right front wheel was repaired due to curb rash. February of 2020, right front wheel was repaired and both inner rear taillights were replaced as well. So same issue, or just a very anal owner, something like that. So this car has 4 new rear taillights that were replaced in 2017 and 2020. November of 2021, headlight malfunction and a stored code, but they reset it and it never came back. So not sure what's going on there. Sometimes I do see that related to a low battery, like a weak battery will do weird things on these cars, like TVD malfunction or headlight malfunction, things like that. That could be what it was there. May of 2022, the passenger folding mirror, the power folding mirror quit working. and so it quit folding and they replaced it. So then on to the current owner's service. The owner said that he has run AMSOIL full synthetic every 4,000 miles or less in this car. He has Novell pads, brake pads, and aftermarket rotors that are on it. And it's never been in a full collision. It's been in this little fender bender on the front, and then it's hail damage. So it's never actually been in a true accident. The tires are brand new, less than 2,000 miles ago. It needs a camber kit. So it's on Swift springs, so it wears out the insides of the front tires. So you would have to get adjustable front and rear control arm bits in order to correct that. He said the OEM carbon fiber, it's all original as far as he knows, and it is delaminating. The seats are like a solid 9 out of 10, he said. He said the seats are in great shape. So well maintained on his part as well. So it's a well maintained car. So that brings me to, would I buy this car? Absolutely, but I know, like, I would want to be a buyer close to like 18 or 20,000, but I think with the low mile example and the it's a very desirable spec. So a lot of people want the blue with red. It was in some of the brochures. Well, a lot of the blue cars were anyway. The ultrasonic blue said it was blue with white with orange calipers. That was a lot of the press, but some of them had the blue with the red, and so that's what I remember when we were at the auto shows, and our car was actually one of the auto show cars. But it's a desirable spec. So look at it from a parts perspective. It is a low mile example. It has no blown airbags, so it's got low mile drivetrain, low mile everything. And so from a parts perspective, it's very valuable too, but this car definitely deserves to be put back on the road. It's got paint protection film on every single panel, so it's already protected. Like, the paint's gonna be perfect. You remove the paint protection film or even replace it, you have perfect paint underneath this car. And so fix what needs to be fixed, put it back on the road, go enjoy it. But as I said, I would probably have to be a buyer at like 18 to 20,000 to get it to where it would make financial sense to me. And I would definitely fix it, put it back together, and go drive it. But I am pretty sure this car is going to bring all the money at Copart. There are a lot of people asking me about it, and I'm interested in it too. I just paid my taxes for the year, so I'm kind of tapped out for the moment. But that would be, if it was a better time for me, I would definitely be a bidder on this. So this is 1055. Very good one to look at, worth rebuilding. Please put this one back on the road. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.